I'm back. I'm better than ever. Got a knack for making things better. This is your good buddy DJ Clive, the RANMA 1/2 character profile guy, and I haven't done this in a while, so forgive me if I'm a little bit rusty, but the reason for that is that I am doing this profile is coming to you via a brand new computer. My last one was on the fritz for way too long, and it didn't look like it was showing any signs of recovering. I had a tech guy come over at the house, look at it, and he said it's going to cost more to repair this thing than it is going to be to just buy a whole new one. So I bought a whole new one. Thankfully, I was able to save the whole hard drive from the last one, so all my projects are still intact. It's just the transferring process of bringing things over. It just takes a long time. And so I thought in the interim, before I start the RANMA Sao Tome profile again, because I have been gone over a month and a half since I posted anything, since I had this problem, I decided to do some really quick profiles just to let people know that I'm still alive and that I haven't dropped off the face of the planet. This is a live action portion that we're watching right here, the Chengensai profile. I actually did this like quite many weeks ago. I'd just been sitting on this footage for a long time, and I was just saying to myself, all right, when I finally get back to doing profiles, this will be the first character I tackle. And little did I know that it would end up being so many weeks later. Yeah, so if there was any benefit of me being without a computer for over a month and a half, it was that it gave me a lot of time to think. It gave me a lot of time to write new scripts down. I actually have 5 scripts for absolutely new profiles that I hadn't planned on before. So it looks like the DJ Clive experiment is going to keep chugging along, at least for the time being. But yeah, these were the first 2 scripts that I wrote up: the Chengensai profile and the Ushinnosuke Oshamanbe profiles. Now, these are characters that I had received requests to do as profiles, but these were such itty-bitty bit characters that I didn't think that I would have enough footage to constitute an entire profile, so I just kind of removed that from my mind as a possibility for something for me to do. But like I said, desperate men do desperate things. I was gone for so long without a computer that I really needed to do something to fill the interim before I started working on the RANMA Sao Tome profile, because if I went back to that, then I'd be gone even more months and people would just start dumping me. So I decided I had to bite the bullet and do this. And when you're dealing with characters that are this small, you really have to get creative in how you present this material. And with this one, I had the idea just pop into my head one day. Every time I wander into a new area, I always think of the possibilities of me filming there. And I went into my garage one day and I just said to myself, I never filmed here before. I bet you if I just light this up very, very dimly and just, I can make it very, very eerie and scary, and what character would fit into this? And then a lot of times I come up with the idea first and the character later, and this was one of those instances. Chengensai was perfect for that. Funny fact, the original idea for this profile, all the live action footage that you saw in the garage, I was going to do that in the style of like night vision goggles, kind of like a monochrome, like really dark, fuzzy, blurry effect on there. But that all ended up getting scrapped because of the new computer. For whatever reason, my new computer is not compatible. It says that it doesn't have a strong enough graphics card for my special effects software. So that's why all these new profiles I'm putting out are really light on the special effects so far, because I can't figure out how to finagle it using my mere rinky-dink Intel card that I have in my computer. I am so dumb when it comes to stuff like this. I had no idea when I bought this computer that this would be a problem. But who could really see that coming? So in any case, my dreams of this being my quote-unquote paranormal activity profile went up in smoke. But you could see I try to do a little bit of, I try to mock it up a little bit by making the whole thing blue and monochrome, but it just wasn't the same. And who knows, maybe the effect wouldn't have worked. But it just, I would have at least liked to have tried it and, tried it on for size and see if it worked, but c'est la vie. by the way, with the addition of this new computer, I had one of my million-dollar questions answered for me. If I got a new computer and it wasn't bogged down with so much shit, would my Pinnacle Studio start to work again and not give me all those bumps and fumfers and sound glitches? And the answer is no. When I was really shocked to see that when I was done with this video, I still had all the same glitches and all the same like popping audio that I always do in these profiles. And now it's official. It's the program. It's not my computer. It's not a virus. It's not nothing. It's the computer. It's got to be. So I advise all of you out there that even though this is a great program to work with, if you want a picture-perfect product in the end, try something else. Try Avid Studio if you can get around the learning curve there. Haha, here is the very lengthy live-action portion of the end of this profile where I just wax poetic to the camera for like 2 minutes straight. And you people who saw the Hiroshi and Daisuke profile know that I'm really bad on camera for lengthy periods of time. I absolutely detest talking for this long. I was very bad in school with oral reports and stuff of that nature, so this is really not my bag, but I do get visions in my head and I really like to try to make them into reality, and a lot of times I have to do what I hate to do that. And this being finally one of those shoots without those beaming lights on top of me, you would think that I'd be a little more comfortable during this, but it was so hot out when I filmed this, and it's very funny for me to say because right now it's freezing and quite the temperature change around here, but when I filmed this, it was hot. I had obviously no air conditioning in this garage here, and it was just, I was sweating to death. I had to do multiple takes, and it was very uncomfortable. I was colliding with things I couldn't see. It was a very tough shoot. Plus, my cue cards I couldn't see. Normally when I do these things, I have it written pretty much verbatim what I'm going to say, word for word. But in this shoot, you know, it was pitch black. I had a lantern in my face that was glaring in my eyes. I couldn't see what I was saying, so instead of, you know, having it written word for word, I just had a few bullet points up there, and whatever my eye caught, I would just try to riff off of that. And it was a little bit more difficult, but thankfully I had all those months to prepare for this. So I had a lot of this already in my mind, just ingrained. A lot of times at work I get bored and I just reread like old scripts. So I read this one a bunch of times and it was fresh in my mind. But still, not one of my more favorite shoots. I should, before it's done and on to the next one, mention why there are 2 versions of this on YouTube currently. It is because of the soundtrack, and I had been gone for a while. I didn't know what the status was as far as using licensed music on these things. I thought maybe their policies had changed, but the minute that I had this posted on YouTube, I noticed next to the title it said matched third-party content. So I immediately thought that this movie was silenced, or it was just like a black screen without even having watched it. I thought they had already pulled it. And you know, I had a feeling that that might be a problem going into it because I used a lot of music from the movie adaptation of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, which had a really cool Trent Reznor soundtrack, which just gave a really eerie haunted house feeling to the whole thing. I think it really set the profile apart. So I decided to go back and do a whole new soundtrack for it, and I just replaced it with a bunch of video game tunes and safe stuff. But it turns out when I went back to YouTube, the video was up there, and now I had 2 versions of the same video up there. And now with the new computer, I don't know why, it's not letting me delete the other one. So now I have 2 versions that are just splitting the viewership. It kind of pisses me off, but what am I gonna do? Currently, the title of the one that doesn't have the Trent Reznor soundtrack, it just says, "Don't watch this, I'm trying to delete this." But I think because it's titled that, more people are probably watching that one because people are curious to what it could possibly be. So yeah, that's the story of that. And who knows, maybe the licensed music is going to be a problem down the road. But as of now, I like it the original way, and I want people to see it that way. Alrighty, we move on from Chengensai to this one, a profile that I finished just earlier today. This is the Ushinnosuke Oshamanbe profile, or Shumanme, depending on what you're watching. Are you watching the Japanese dub or the English dub? Very strange thing going on there that maybe I'll pontificate about if I have time. This was a very fun profile to do. The idea for this profile came to me almost instantly, to do it in the style of a very old, grainy Western. And when I thought of the voice that I was doing, or that I was to do for this profile, I immediately thought of Chris Christopherson from the movie Blade, where he played Whistler. And I think of the line where he goes, "Damn it, Blade, can't you see what they're doing? They're waging a damn PR campaign. Now we don't have to worry about vampires. We got to worry about the rest of the world, too." So yeah, anytime I lost the voice, I just went back to that line and I immediately got my Whistler on. And to help me with the voice, I actually am in my, my computer chair, which rocks back and forth, and I had the microphone, like, in between my legs, so I had to make sure I was very relaxed, like I was like maybe high off a moonshine and just rocking my rocking chair out in the sun in the Old West. I think it really helped the shoot that I remained really relaxed and almost a little bit sleepy as I did this, because it added that extra growl to my voice. I also put an effect on my voice, which thankfully I'm able to do this now without the whole doldrums of speeding up and slowing down audio. I found a new program on the internet called Audacity, which actually helps you do not just this, but a lot of other things. It's a very user-friendly program that you could just pick it up and play with it. And you can just change the pitch of your voice without having to fondle with the speed at all, which was a very big help. For this profile in particular, I'm a little bit miffed that I wasn't able to use my special effects software, my Magic Bullet looks, and even more importantly, my ProDad effects, because I have a lot of really cool effects that would have helped this profile along and make it look even cooler and more vintage than it actually does. This isn't the only old grainy video effect that I have. I have a bunch of effects. I have one that makes it look like that there's dirt on the viewfinder of the camera. I have one that makes it look like an old VHS tape. I have like film effects of like the film like bubbling and breaking, stuff of that nature that I didn't have access to that could have really helped this profile be even cooler and even more old westy. But like I said, I mean, until I get a new sound driver plugged in, which I hear you can do. I hear that, you know, you can have an Intel and like a NVIDIA both sharing the same place in your computer. I'm not sure exactly how that works. I'm sure I sound like an idiot just talking about this and pretending that I know about it, but you know, it's not out of the realm of possibility that I'll get these effects back someday. But in the meantime, it also made doing this profile, looking at it positively, it made it go by really, really quick. And I had this profile done from start to finish in about a week. For me, that is crazy fast. I know you're probably used to watching people like Nostalgia Critic and you know, stuff of that nature, who they put out a new video every week. But these guys have, not only is it become their bread and butter that they do this for a living, but they also have more than one person working on these things. And for me to have to, you know, go to work and work my 9-to-5 job and have to take care of a house and all that, it's, you know, I don't really have the time I used to devote to these things. So, by the way, I just saw that the Nostalgia Critic is hanging up his hat, and that just really disheartens me. I was a real big fan of that guy, and I wish him well. I mean, I think it's really cool what he's doing. He's actually got a studio project now, and I'm sure that there's probably the chances of my voice getting to him are very, very slim, but in case he's watching, in the 1 in a million chance, I wish him all the luck in the world, and I'll be watching whatever he does, because that guy and his brother, they're both like drop dead hysterical, and I always just, the first thing I did when I come home from work every Wednesday would be go to the computer and check out the Nostalgia Critic and what movie he reviewed. So yeah, that's enough of that, and shuck it, duck it, quack, quack, will you look at that? The videos are already done. So this is your good buddy DJ Clive, the Ranma 1/2 character profile guy, bidding you adieu for another week on Dailymotion. These videos were a lot of fun to do. It was almost like going back old school, and the way, like how fast I used to get these things done. And just because I'm getting them done fast doesn't mean that I'm not proud of the work on them. I think these profiles, for the speed that they came out really, really good, in my humble opinion. If I'm to grade my own work, I put them right up there with some of the bigger profiles that I've done. What's coming down the pike? Am I doing another one really quick? Well, I'm going to be working a little bit quicker. I'm not going right back to the Ranma Sao Tome profile just yet. Jarrett and I have 2 manga profiles that are almost finished. They just need a little tinkering. The latest one is giving me a little bit of problems because I can't get my software to work, but that's going to become the story of my life, I suppose. And I have 2 more bit character profiles to choose from, and I'm going back and forth which way to go. Do I go silly or do I go more serious? I think we might be ready for a silly one, because these last 2 were a little bit like, to go from scary to serious and to another serious one, I think we need a silly one, so I think I just made my mind up right there. I'll leave it at that. And I have, like I said, there's 5 scripts that I wrote. I have 1 more script for a major character that I missed. So you can, search the old memory banks to try to figure out who that could be. It's a character that I have personally a lot of abomination for, and I have visited said character's portion of the series and their surrounding plot lines a number of times, and I'm not really too high on going back to that universe, but I think the way I'm going to present it is going to surprise a lot of people. I'm giving you fair warning, though, it's not going to be for everybody. A lot of times I like to go on these tangents that I wonder if I'm amusing only myself, but, I've perhaps said too much. So this is your good buddy DJ Clive, the Ranma 1/2 character profile guy, and I know I said that before, but I'm going to say it again, bidding you adieu from the world of Dailymotion, and sayonara, everybody! Take care, life is Ranma. Peace!